I'm Leslie Mitchell. I'm Industry Development Coordinator with Quality Meat Scotland, and I'm the lead on the Meet the Market programme. The Meet the Market programme is really about the supply chain, and Orkney's got one of the most unique supply chains in Scottish agriculture, and they've also got some of the best livestock in Scottish agriculture as well, so we're very keen to come and see that, the livestock, be shown them, and to bring processors up as well and see just for some of the logistics and the challenges of producing stock on the island. The Meet the Market programme brings together farmers, breeders and finishers and processors, so just the linking up the supply chain and bringing them together so that they ensure that they're producing what's wanted when it's wanted.
I'm Graham Lowe and I'm auctioneer at Orkney Auction Mart. So majority of the livestock we're selling would be store cattle. In the cattle section, it's store cattle. I would say 95% of the cattle we sell in a year would be store cattle. Mostly forward stowers in the back end, although this last 2-3 years there's been a bigger increase in the amount of yearlings coming through in the springtime. Trade's been good, so when the trade's good, the cattle come out. So good forward store cattle in September and good grazing cattle in the springtime. That's a mixture of commercial cattle and native cattle as well. We rely heavily on buyers from South, predominantly Aberdeenshire. We have a few buyers from Caithness, Inverness-shire, some from down in Edinburgh, but the majority would be more Aberdeen based. And because it's more forward store cattle we're selling, we rely heavily on them to buy the majority of our cattle, just purely because they can grow the crops better and feed them cheaper than what we can. So I would say, again, well up high 90% of the cattle that gets sold in our mart would end up in Aberdeen or South, further south. But the two biggest challenges would be, well, the main one would be the weather, which we have no control over. Sometimes in the springtime, if it's too wet and folk can't get cattle out, I've seen us having big grazing sales because folk can't get cattle out. And the weather kind of dictates when folk sell cattle, especially in the back end as well. If it's a good back end, folk will keep them on to maybe December time, but if it's a poor back end, folk will sell them earlier, October, November. But the weather also causes challenges with shipping, so obviously all this cattle's getting bought. We're relying a lot on the boats running on time. A lot of that's down to weather as well. The weather also affects our flights. So because we're relying on Aberdeenshire buyers, they have to get flown up and flown back south. And the only delays we really have is when it's weather dependent. So weather's our biggest challenge. And with that, it's like a ripple effect. There's all different challenges from it.
I'm Adam Toorie. I farm at Westbrook Farm out in Sandy, which is in North Isle in Orkney. Got sheep and beef cattle selling advanced stores, I suppose you'd call it, at roughly 18 months of age, and then either store or fat lambs depending on the year and grass availability. The biggest challenge of being in North Isles is just extra freight costs. Everything you buy has to be freighted in, everything we sell has to be freighted out. There's big challenges with availability of lorries, with the haulage to get animals in and out and feed the other way, and the boats are getting older, so they're always being restricted for weight, which then has a knock-on effect to everything else. As you can't fill the boat to get everything back and forth. Our great health status that we've got here, we've got that break in water between here and the mainland, which means that we've got that little bit of extra biosecurity, and as long as you're sensible with all the animals that's coming in, then you can really prevent anything untoward from getting across the water and into the Isles. The easiest way to know if you're producing what the market's looking for is just to speak to the fellas that's buying your stock, have that link to the end producer. They'll soon tell you if they're looking for something else to what you're doing, and but so far I think I've been doing it not too badly.
I'm Alistair Watson, farm at Livestock Farm up in Orkney. We're running 120 mainly Angus cows, producing store cattle, mainly sold through the local mart, but also some will go down to Thainston now and again. Sheep-wise, 300 mainly Texel cross ewes, trying to finish a lot of the lambs, but depending on what grass is available, a lot of them are getting sold store at the moment, again just through the local mart. I say once they leave the mart here, they'll be doing overnight on the boat to Aberdeen. It's a good service. Aberdeenshire boys get them picked up in Aberdeen and they'll be on farm the next morning. And the livestock cassettes that they're working with here, they're ideal for the job. They're purpose built for the job, and the cattle are pretty fresh when you come off them, to be honest. And they're 6-8 hours on the boat, doesn't seem to bother them. Probably better than doing a 10-hour road trip. Locally, I've got good neighbours. We help each other out now and again, whether it's shifting cattle across the road or needing an extra machine or an extra tractor. We kind of swap stuff back and forth when we need to. There'll be some places some folk will not speak to their neighbours, but up here we're trying to help each other out as much as we can.
I'm Liam Muir, a farmer and livestock agent. I've been buying livestock for over 50 years. Well, the one thing we're very lucky with in Orkney is that there's not too many of them pushed when they're young. They're naturally reared. They have a bit of frame in them, so it means that when they get to the destination and the fattener's going to start with them, he's a frame to work on. And we're very lucky in Orkney that the farming folk here are quite fussy but to keep for cows. And then working with wood bulls, then they're well bred, so they're easier fed, I think. There's always quite the brisk competition. We have a very good ringside of buyers that flies up mostly from Aberdeenshire here in Abundant to the bigger sales, and most of the major fatteners in the northeast would be represented around the ring here, if not themselves by agents like myself.
I'm Alison Rich. I'm a farmer at Carefield in Sandwick. I am the Secretary of the Orkney Agricultural Discussion Society, and as an society we aim to promote the study and development of agriculture in the county. Our membership has a wide age range. The oldest is over 80 and the youngest will be in their 20s. Male, female, small holding, larger holding, everything in between. It's just to get anybody that's involved in the agricultural industry in the county. It encourages everybody to come together. It's a social aspect. As an industry, we're quite often working on our own, no seeing anybody from 1 week to the other unless it's a vet or a contractor coming in. So it's just that social aspect. And hopefully at the end of the meeting we go home with some new knowledge to take back onto our farms and adapt our practices.
I'm Adrian Crowe. I did 38 years with the Meat and Livestock Commercial Services as a classifier and divisional manager. The livestock grading system is a simple way of describing a carcass or an animal. We use the Europe grid for confirmation and a fat score of 1 to 5 to cover the fat. The main thing that farmers or producers should look for when ready to market their animals is to make sure that they're finished or not over finished. It's getting that fine balance of not being too lean, not being too fat, watching the weight, make sure they don't go over that maximum weight that the abattoirs want. If you know your targets, then you're going to maximise your returns for your product. Not only are we cattle producers, at the end of the day we are meat producers, and we need to target the areas that the market needs.
My name is Oliver Finsley. I am the site manager at Keepack Macintosh Land. We source a lot of categories from Orkney, Angus, cows and clean cattle. Logistics are fairly simple enough. There's a boat that brings the livestock down to Aberdeen, and when they get dropped there, then we get them via haulier to the factory in Portletton. It's important that animals meet a specification for us because it's to ensure consistency along the supply chain, so that when we're procuring animals that they fit a template or a spec that enables us to sell the beef. Processors and farmers working together to meet consumer demand. I think that's through just engagement, speaking with each other, understanding their kill out percentage of their animals, and I think it's a two-way street in terms of communication that way.